Berlin, August 21st, 2025, the German government officially announced a historic step in the defense sector. The Ministry of Defense has outlined a procurement plan worth more than 350 billion euros, $409 billion, by 2041, a move that signals Chancellor Friedrich Merz's determination to make the Bundeswehr the strongest conventional military force in Europe. A major commitment by 2041. The plan, outlined in the draft 2026 federal budget, targets a dramatic increase in military spending. In 2025, Germany allocated 8.2 billion euros, $9.6 billion, for acquisitions, jumping to 22.3 billion euros, $26 billion, in 2026. More striking, however, is the introduction of Verpflichtungsermächtigungen, or long-term commitment authorizations, worth up to 325 billion euros, $379 billion. These instruments allow the government to sign multi-decade contracts for tanks, ships, aircraft, and other major weapon systems. Combined with the 2025 to 2026 budget, the total reaches 355 billion euros, $415 billion. A ministry spokesperson confirmed that as of the end of May, 28 billion euros of the Bundeswehr's dedicated defense funds had been spent. This dedicated fund will continue until 2027, with allocations of 24 billion euros in 2025, 25.5 billion euros in 2026, and 27.4 billion euros in 2027. Modernization focus. From tanks to satellites, the draft defense plan details future commitments across various sectors, including 15.9 billion euros, $18.6 billion for communications equipment, 20.8 billion euros, $24.3 billion for vehicles and accessories, 52.5 billion euros, $61.3 billion for combat vehicles, 70.3 billion euros, $82.2 billion for ammunition, 20.9 billion euros, $24.4 billion for field materials and logistics, 36.6 billion euros, $42.7 billion for ships and naval equipment, 34.2 billion euros, $40 billion for aircraft and missiles, 13.3 billion euros, $15.5 billion for satellite-based communications. According to the plan, military spending would peak in 2029 to 2030 with an annual budget of over 52 billion euros, $60.7 billion. Chancellor Merz. Germany must become a leader in European defense. Chancellor Friedrich Merz emphasized that this plan is not simply a budget increase, but a structural transformation. He argued that after decades of underfunding, the Bundeswehr must be modernized to be ready to face new geopolitical threats. Europe cannot rely solely on the United States. Germany must take greater responsibility for the continent's security, Merz said in a statement in Berlin. This statement also reflects Germany's new direction following Russia's invasion. Geopolitics, NATO, Russia, and new challenges. This plan clearly isn't happening in a vacuum. Since the Ukraine war, Russia has been steadily escalating its rhetoric and military capabilities. NATO requires each member to allocate 2% of GDP to defense, a target Germany has struggled to meet. With this new plan, Germany not only exceeds that limit but also has the potential to become the second largest military spender in NATO after the US. For Moscow, this move is seen as provocative. Russian media have called Germany reviving the shadow of the Wehrmacht. But for the Baltic and Eastern European states, it is seen as a much-needed security guarantee. Internal challenges, politics, and public opinion. While these grand ambitions sound convincing, domestic challenges are no less significant. Parliamentary approval is still required, and the opposition highlights the risks of tax burdens and potential budget deficits. Some Germans are also uncomfortable with the idea of a military revival. A recent survey showed that 47% of the public supports increased defense spending, while 41% oppose it, citing more pressing social needs, such as health, education, and climate change. However, there are also risks. The surge in military spending could trigger an arms race in Europe, particularly with Russia. Furthermore, the program's success depends on political consistency in Berlin, given that the plan extends until 2041, beyond the terms of several subsequent chancellors.